one of the questions I was going to ask you is if you had any particular strategies or advice you'd like to give to filmmakers in conflict areas, basically, because being a filmmaker in a conflict area is totally different from being a filmmaker anywhere else. Are there a couple points that you want to highlight or recommend to them?
Well, I'm not a war photographer, or I'm not a war filmmaker or journalist, so I'm not really. I'm not too qualified to really comment on that, But I would say that any good story, there's going to be conflict in it. So depends on the level of conflict. But if you're talking about interpersonal relationships, this is conflict. This is something you want to document. If you're in, like, say, a war zone, it's a totally different ballgame. I really don't have that experience, but I would say that, of course, the number one thing is to always be aware of your surroundings. I mean, the whole point of documenting something that's worth documenting is being able to predict with sort of, I guess, a sixth sense, what's going to happen, where it's going to go. Is this person lining up for a fight or a conflict with somebody else? This is part of the art of what we do, is being very aware of the kind of nuances of energies and emotions that are inside the characters that you're following. And obviously the context within which they function, you have to be quite aware of, and where the dangers are, and what the comfort zone is. But typically I like to try to get to know people a little bit without the camera on, just make them feel comfortable with me. There's an element of trust that has to be established for you to be able to capture those intimate moments where it's usually a bit uncomfortable to have the camera on. I mean, that's really what we're going for. That's what we're looking for. That's not the time to turn it off. That's the time to keep it on. It's when people tell you turn that camera off, that's when you got to keep rolling. So you got to be a bit sneaky and tricky and let's say untraditional to get the story that you need. And certainly you have to have the camera on. You have to have it framed up, and you have to capture those moments. So that's always something to keep in mind. Personal safety, that's really up to the filmmaker, and I think the cameraman is sometimes, to be naive is actually can be quite an advantage, because you can find yourself wandering into like a very dangerous situation that you're not aware of, and actually capture things that if you knew really what was going on, you'd probably not be there, So there's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. That's really all I could say. But again, it's all about being a shadow and blending into the crowd and taking advantage of certain situations to get what you need. Not really, and doing it in a very unorthodox and very off the cuff kind of way. Spontaneous. This is the best way to get stuff.